5 Shimmering Skies. This is my first time ever live streaming standing up. Can you believe that? I got a new desk. Look, I can do this. Woo! Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a sponsor. There'll be a sponsored video. Very, very happy with the desk. It's pretty awesome. So new setup. Let me know. Hopefully the audio is all good. We are going to just be jumping pretty much straight into set 5 Shimmering Skies decks. Going to build decks basically. And I plan on building decks until I fall asleep. That is basically my plans for the evening. We've now, of course, got all of the cards revealed. All 204. 205 if you include Oswald from set 6. And yeah, if you are excited for the stream, give it a like. Definitely does help out. Hope everyone's good. The site I'm going to be using is called inkborn.app, which is going to be my first time. I'm making sure that everything's working because I haven't live streamed in so long. I'm a bit paranoid that the YouTube stream is not working. Hopefully it is. No, we're good. All right, cool. So yeah, we're going to, it seems to be like delayed. Like it might have missed the start. Anyway, hello everyone. Who's in the building? Let's say hello. We've got Rackenfire. Hi. Woundstone. Hi. Chronic. What's good? It's so weird to be standing up. I'm kind of far away from my monitors. I'm still like trying to get the setup right. Don't ask about the holes in the door, mate. All right. I'm going to try and cover that up pretty soon. It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it, really? I'm 28 years old, mate. And I've got holes in my door. YouTube didn't go off. It's good now. I don't know what the delay was, but it's working now. Thanks. So yeah, great to see everyone. Hi Couch. Thanks Alfredo. Patrick. Himbir. Theo. Should we just jump into it? Should we just build some decks? I think we should just build some decks. I'm going to move this tab over here. I'm going to close my Discord so I don't show anything I shouldn't. And then we're going to go here. So I've never used this website before, but it seems like the website with the best deck builder that's up to date. I spoke to the people that run Dreamborn and regrettably, it's not really updated yet. So we're going to make do with this, but if it's a good site, I'll use it more often. I'm kind of looking for a deck building site. Guys, also, I'm going to plug, if you're based in North America, which most of my viewers are, I do now have a TCG Player affiliate link. Now, what that means is if you click on my link, and it's the last affiliate link you click on for TCG Player, for the next 7 days, if you make any purchases, I get like 3.5% of the money from that. So if you're about to drop $1,000 on a Bucky deck, and it crosses your mind, oh, I'm gonna use Spessie's link. Well, guess what? I get like 50 quid off that. That'll be class. So no pressure, but it's a great way of supporting me for free. So the card that I want to talk about to start off the video is this. This site looks good, man. I like this site. This site looks good. Daisy Duck Donald's Date. Let me hide my taskbar as well. 1 second. There we go. Cool. Daisy Duck Donald's Date. This card, guys, is the most important card in set 5, in my opinion. The whole meta is going to warp around this because there is not a single card in the game which can answer this efficiently on turn 1. So if I'm going first and I play Daisy Duck Donald's Date, what is your best possible answer to it on turn 1? It's like a Captain Hook or Rafiki. Well, guess what? That isn't actually a very good answer because Captain Hook or Rafiki are only going to have 3 strength when they challenge. So my Daisy Duck is questing for 4 unless you can on turn 2 play something which is either damaging Daisy Duck like a Baboom. Of course, there's Fire the Cannons as well on 1, but that would take 2 Fire the Cannons. Rush on turn 2, Shift on turn 2, or a card on turn 2 which gives extra strength to a pre-existing character. So the Ruby Simba, there's like the Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer, Hypnotic something or other. Like, this card is going to be everywhere. This card is going to be everywhere. And every deck in the game is going to need an answer to it. Like, what are you going to do? Okay, let's say I go first. You miss turn 1. You play a Ruby Gaston on turn 2 with 4 strength, 2 willpower. Okay. And then on turn 3, your Gaston can remove my Daisy Duck. Happy days. Well, guess what? By that time, it's your turn 3. I already played 2 more Daisy Ducks on turn 2, and I played something on turn 3. Maybe, I don't know, something that could remove your Gaston, like a Baboom. And suddenly, I've still got 3 Daisy Ducks on the board. Well, the first one quested for 4 already, and the other 2 quested for 2 already. So I'm already on flipping 8 lore, and I remove your Gaston with a baboon. So Gaston ain't cutting it, mate. Gaston on 2 ain't cutting it. You need something better. Gaston on 2 is like, there has to be something better. And there is. And we're going to talk about that, I think, to begin with. Like, to be honest, like it seems like the first deck to build would be a Daisy Duck deck. But honestly, I'm more interested in considering how on earth do other decks deal with Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck, I think, could be great in a lot of different decks, just aggro in general. I think that Steel has some good aggro cards. I think Baboom is, as I just mentioned, a good option to protect your Daisy Ducks. I think that Steel also has like this new card, which is drawing. It's like a dwarf card. Costs 2. Discards your hand to draw. How is this website working? Let's see. Uh-oh. Oh, inkborn.app/build. This is your time to shine, mate. What's going on? This is your big moment. There we go. Okay. Hello. Okay. This is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed. Do they have all the cards? Yeah. Oh, this is great. So this is the card Doc Bold Knight, which is like another aggro card, potentially. When you play this character, you may discard your hand to draw 2 cards. Could just be good with Daisy Duck. You empty your hand with Daisy Ducks by going wide. And then on like turn 4, you play Doc as the last card from your hand to just draw 2 new ones. And I think that this card, Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer, shout out to my Discord where we've been having some really interesting chats this afternoon about Daisy Duck. Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer, guys. This is actually one of the most efficient answers to Daisy Duck in the game. So if you play a card on turn 1 with 2 strength, and then you play Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer on turn 2, suddenly you can actually remove that Daisy Duck without it questing for 4. It's still going to quest for 2, but that's a pretty big deal, right? You're able to remove that Daisy Duck. So something like Mickey Mouse, which is giving Challenger, is a pretty good option to deal with Daisy. Obviously in Steel, you've also got other control tools like Baboom. There is also in Amethyst a new card, which is working in a kind of similar way to Mickey Mouse, which is called, it's in the starter deck as well. It is called Hypnotic Strength. This is another card which could deal with Daisy Duck. You give this, to whatever character you play on turn 1. If it had 2 strength, you could remove a Daisy Duck, but it doesn't add any extra cards to the board. So I don't think that this one... Hey, great to see you, Tim. I heard that too. So this is also potentially an answer to Daisy. I don't like it as much. I think it's better if you can, with the Mickey Mouse, for example, you're actually developing your board. This is obviously adding to your hand, but I think the Mickey Mouse is going to be better to deal with Daisy because it's developing the board. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube and enjoying the stream, give it a like. I'm basically going to build decks until I sleep. That's the plan for today. I didn't eat yet today either, but I think I'm gonna stay and not eat. That's kind of my plan. Okay, so ways of giving like challenge or extra strength. There's also this Ruby Simba card, which I had the hot take when I saw it announced that it's the worst character card in the game. That was definitely a hot take. I take it back. That goes to the Minnie Mouse in Sapphire, which is like the same card as this in Sapphire, but it's a 1/2, and it gives a character 2 less strength when played. When am I arriving in Bologna? That's a good question. It's an indirect flight. So I think maybe like, I'm arriving on the Friday. Maybe like 3 p.m. I should be at the venue for, something like that. 4 p.m. But I'm flying home late on Monday, so I actually get a chance to explore on Monday, which is really nice. I've never been to Italy before, so I'm very excited. Very excited indeed. You can befuddle the Daisy. That's actually a really good point. I haven't thought about befuddle. Oh my days. Who said that? Brian. Brian, give yourself a pat on the back. Befuddle? Jeez. Okay. Befuddle's a great card. Yeah. Befuddle. That does sound like a good idea, not going to lie. Befuddle does sound like a good idea. Of course, the thing with befuddle is you're just stalling Daisy out because then it can come back. But stalling out is kind of all you need to do, right? Oh, befuddle. It's kind of spooky though that like one of the best answers to an aggro card is an aggro card, right? That's pretty interesting. So befuddle could be incentivizing you to build your Amber Daisy Duck deck with Amethyst. I mean, Amethyst already has a bunch of good 1-drops. Chernobog and Chernobog's followers and Magic Broom are two of the best in the game. Obviously, you've also got... Befuddle is a 1-cost card, which can bounce back a 1 or 2-cost character to their player's hand. So you can use it on your own card if you really want to. Like, you could Quest of Daisy and then Befuddle your own thing. Is it not on this site? It is. This Inkborn app is insane. Return a character or item with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. This card wrecked me in the content creator set champs for Stitch. I queued up against Ross, who I'm doing the casting with in Bologna. I just literally got off the plane from Poland, where I finished 4th in like a big event. Got like 10 boxes of Into the Inklands, and I'm got the same deck sleeved up. I'm feeling so confident. And then Ross opens Maleficent on turn 1, Maleficent Befuddle. Imagine that, but with Daisy Ducks. Jeez! Oh my days. Befuddle's a really good point. It's a really good point. Daisy might put all of your Befuddles on the bottom of your deck if you're unlucky. Yeah, that's true. Daisy Duck is hitting... it's only adding cards to your opponent's hand if they're characters, right? If they're not characters, she is not. And some people in my comments have said, I think it was in my Discord actually, that maybe it's a downside or maybe it's an upside if you hit actions, but I don't really agree with that. Nice one, Tim. Great to see you. Excited to hang out and play some decks. I've got a green Sapphire deck with Emerald Sapphire, 36 uninkables, and I'm ready to take you on with it. It's actually quite good. I played it at my store champs on Sunday, and I don't want to give the video away. I didn't win an Ursula. I did lose. Okay, I'm going to give the video away. I did lose my first 2 games, but then I won 3 on the bounce, and it was honestly... I'm going to go ahead and say it's like the most stacked set championships in the world. The quality of player was so high. It was a London event, and it was like the only set champs on in London on that day. And like in my 3rd round, I was 0-2, and I queued into the guy that won the Axion Superstore champs. That was like a case of first chapter. I went 0-2, and I queued into the person that won that event. Like, that's how stacked it was. It was a belter. Okay, so how else can you answer Daisy Duck? Befuddle, you can answer it with rush characters. So I think Ruby is looking quite good in that sense because Ruby got some pretty good rush characters this set. You want a rush character which obviously ideally has 4 strength, which I don't think one exists at this level. But for example, Stitch is a bit weak because of the fact that it's going to actually trade down to Daisy Duck. So Queen of Hearts, for example, would be a better bet. But obviously Queen of Hearts isn't actually taking it out. But if you have a character on turn 1 and then Queen of Hearts to finish the job, and then your Queen of Hearts is still on the board and can remove the next one that's forthcoming. The other card, which I think is pretty interesting to be an option maybe as a kind of tech card against these decks, is this new rush card. I think it's uninkable. Turbo, the Royal Hack. Which is just a 2/3 with rush. You'd probably rather just play Queen of Hearts, I think, wouldn't you? Hey, Play Nation, good to see you, mate. Do you prefer fielding with Inkborn? This is my first time using this site. They just have all the cards ready to go and a clean deck builder. That's why I'm using it. If I like it, I'll continue to go to do. Yeah, I mean, you got Gaston, but as I just mentioned, I think that Gaston is not actually particularly good at dealing with Daisy Duck. The first Daisy Duck is still getting 4 lore. You really don't want that. Like Gaston, while it looks like a good answer to Daisy Duck, I really don't think it is. As I just mentioned, if your opponent's playing Daisy Duck with Steel, which I think is very possible, they can have 3 Daisy Ducks down on the board before your Gaston can challenge, and they could even baboom you or fire the cannons you or something, right? Like imagine you play Gaston and I befuddle your Gaston. Like, Gaston ain't doing it, mate. Imagine I go Daisy Duck on 1, okay? Daisy Duck on 2, Daisy Duck on 3, and then it's on 2 rather. So I've played 3 Daisy Ducks, you play your Gaston. And then on turn 3, I befuddle your Gaston, I play 2 more Daisy Ducks. I got 5 Daisy Ducks. What have you got? You got nothing. Gaston ain't cutting it, mate. Gaston ain't cutting it. I mean, Gaston is definitely an option, but you can't rely on it, that's for sure. You need, I think, rush characters on 2. Moreover, I think you need Something like this Mickey Mouse, like I mentioned, which is giving strength. Like maybe the Simba could help out in that sense as well. But yeah. The other thing, which we haven't mentioned, that you could also do is you could play a shift 2 character. For example, you could play the Queen. The Queen on 1, the Queen on 2. You could either like sing something like a Zeus or just challenge. So shift 2 characters are also potentially ways of dealing with Daisy Duck in the early game. So the Queen looks pretty good in that sense as well. She can take out a whole bunch of Daisy Ducks on her own. Is there any other shift 2 characters in the game? I know we got like a shift 2 Ruby character. Let's see if we can search shift 2. Oh, there's 3 shift 2 characters. Okay. Unfortunately, well, the Queen's not showing up, which is a bit weird. Where's the Queen? Okay, so this might not be an exact list because the Queen we also know is shift 2. But to look at some of the shift 2 options, there's Vanellope von Schweetz. Whenever you play another princess character, all opposing characters get -1. I mean, this could sing something which bounces back into hand as well. There's Tafita Mutton Fudge, which is once per turn when this character moves to a location, gain lore. And there's Aurora. So none of these really that great. It looks like Queen is the best bet. Yeah, like Mini Diver is also, that's true. Mini Diver is a shift 2. Any others? This one is unfortunately only got 2 strength. You want a shift 2 character, which is 4 strength or more, right? Which seems like it's pretty... Oh, Queen of Hearts? Yeah, Queen of Hearts is shift 2, right? But I don't think there's a 1-drop Queen of Hearts. Yeah. I do think this card's pretty good, though. I think that also Ruby got a lot of Rush cards this set. Like a lot. A lot of the Racer cards are Rush characters. And this could be a pretty good option, I think. Yeah, the new Cogsworth card's pretty interesting, actually. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a Reddit post, which... yeah, here, look, right at the top. There's this Cogsworth card, which you can rush in. Or when you play this character, chosen character gains rush, and you can give it self-rush, right? So if you've got Imperial Proclamation, whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you pay 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn. And with Dr. Facilia, you can infinite loop the Cogsworth back to your hand. Dr. Facilia is set 1 card, which whenever one of your other characters is banished in a challenge, you may return that card to your hand. And of course, there's other synergies in there as well. Like there's cards which, there's items which like if you challenge something, you can draw. There's cards like Shere Khan, which if you challenge, gain lore. So this could be a genuine deck. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So the Cogsworth is definitely an interesting one. So far, I'm not really convinced by that many ways of dealing with Daisy Duck efficiently, though. This is like, your deck needs an answer to this. I think this card is going to be everywhere. I think that aggro deck, people love aggro decks, mate. I love an aggro deck. You love an aggro deck in chat. I know you do. And this card, this is the card from the set. As soon as I saw it, I was like, pardon? 4 strength? That's a lot of strength. Now, there's some other synergies with Daisy Duck. Like, for example, there's this Emerald card, which is kind of interesting. That remember who you are. If chosen opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw cards until you have the same number. So you slam down Daisy Duck, empty your hand, get to 4 ink, play this as your last card from hand, refill. Kind of slow for an aggro deck to be doing such a thing, but maybe it's fine. Hook's me. Hook's definitely good, but I mean, Hook is not answering Daisy Duck. You need more than a Hook, right? Hook's, if you go Hook's me, my first Daisy Duck is still questing for 4. If I'm going first. And by that time, I've developed a wider board. So, while like Hook and Rafiki are definitely interesting options, you need more than just that. I do think Befuddle is an interesting card. It seems to me like Befuddle is going to make a real splash and be very popular. So it is also worth mentioning with the other Shift 2 cards, if you can shift them in on 2, they could sing something which could deal more damage, like a Zeus, for example. Is there any other? To me, the best way to deal with Minnie is Mickey. To deal with Daisy is Mickey, the standard bearer, and this is a pretty interesting card because it's also a shift target for the 5-cost Mickey. Now, guys, I've got a favor to ask. If any of you are watching in Europe, I almost bought them off Card Market, but the shipping price was a bit cringe. I am in the market for 3 more copies of the Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer from Ursula's Return. You know, like the little one with the little border? If you're in Bologna and you want to sort me out, I will pay you for it. Or I'll trade you for it, or whatever. I'm in the market for them. Because I think this card is looking pretty good. Because there's also the new... ignore the brooms, right? Ignore the fact that this has broom synergy. That's actually not important. It's the fact that there's a 1 and 2 cost Mickey Mouse, which both seem very good. And you can now shift this in very consistently, sing a whole new world. And the Lorcana devs like this card. When I've played against Lorcana devs, they play this card. I was like, what? Tim was in the chat just now. And I was like, Tim, why are you playing Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer? And he just said, he was like, yeah, this was already a good card. And it just got a lot better. So I think that these are definitely cards to keep an eye on. This Kronk card's pretty cool. It's only Challenger 2 though. That, like, you need really consistent ways of being able to deal with these Daisy Duck decks. And turn 2 characters is not going to really cut it unless they have Rush. Amber Steel with Daisy Duck, the new 1-drop Mickey. Yep, I could see it. Like, the Daisy Duck is just so good. I think it's going to be very difficult for any Amber deck not to justify playing 4 copies of it. Like, any Amber deck. It's that good. 4 willpower, quest for 2, guys. Like, think about it. Every other 1-cost character which can quest for 2 has 1 willpower. Daisy Duck has 4 times as much. 4 times as much. August Stonks? Not really, because I can befuddle it. I can baboom it. And it removes 1 Daisy and then gets removed itself. Like, that's not even good. It's actually really bad. That's how good Daisy is. Is there even any other character in the game which has 4 strength apart from Gaston and Args? I don't know how to pronounce this. Argies? I don't know. I don't see any Ruby answers for Daisy. I disagree. Ruby actually does have some answers. I think Ruby's got Rush characters in abundance, right? So while, like, Queen of Farts isn't, doesn't look that good, it's actually good. Like, I think Queen of Hearts is looking really nice this meta. Because if you just find a turn 1 with 2 strength, you can answer a Daisy and then you've still got 2 characters on the board to remove the other Daisy. Right? So I think you're chilling. Amber Shift Queen. Yep, Amber Shift Queen is definitely a way of dealing with it. Ruby also has, like, some other Rush characters on too, right? It's got the Stitch, which I don't think is good. But it's also got the new Turbo card, which is a 2/3 with Rush. So that can definitely do a lot of damage. There's also, like, I don't know. Obviously Brawl as well. Ruby's got Brawl. So you could spend your turn 3. Like, ideally with Ruby, you go, like, turn 1, you play something like, I don't know, just something with 2 strength. Arthur. I mean, Arthur's not bad, but probably not Arthur, but you play something from a different faction. There's also Simba. I was very, very critical of Simba in the first review of it, but I mean, it definitely gives you a way of dealing with of Daisy Ducks more efficiently than would otherwise be possible. And I think Daisy Duck is going to be such a prevalent card that, for example, like Ruby Amethyst might just be forced to play Simbas to tech for that matchup, for example. Obviously, you can bounce this back. What do you think about a Ruby Steel deck? Yeah, I think Ruby Steel is looking much better. I think this Mickey Mouse, consistent shift. Like, you need a whole new world still for Ruby Steel, right? And the Mickey Mouse is, like, the most consistent. Like, this new 1-cost Mickey Mouse, I think, is right up there with best 1-drops in the game. I think it's absolutely extraordinary. It's a shift target which cannot be removed by Baboom or Fire the Cannons. Like if I play Mickey Mouse on turn 1, right, and I have the shift Mickey Mouse in my hand, you are not stopping that shift on turn 3. Like I am immune. How are you going to stop me? If I go first, you can't brawl me, you can't smash me. Is there any... You could befuddle me, I guess, to be fair. Yeah, Sapphire Steel will always be a thing. Those colours just combine very, very cleanly. I think blue-purple, Sapphire Amethyst has got a lot of support this set as well. I think a lot of the expensive Amethyst cards are giving you a lot of area of effect controls potentially, which the deck has sometimes struggled with. Turn 2 Rafiki, turn... Oh, Lumiere! Oh, Jordan. Guys, Jordan Samuelson on YouTube has said turn 1 Rafiki, turn 2 Lumiere. Lumiere is a card... That is a very good point. That is very interesting. That is a very clean way of doing things, isn't it? Because Lumiere can just sit there and suddenly in Ruby Steel with Captain Hook or Ruby Amethyst with Rafiki, you have a way of challenging a Daisy Duck on turn 2 and removing it. So Lumiere looks really good. Lumiere was actually a card some people in Mufasa decks quite like. I know like Brendan DeCandio, when I've spoken to him, he quite likes Lumiere in Ruby, Amber, Mufasa in set 4. It's a pretty okay card. It's not my personal cup of tea, but in set 4, it's absolutely my cup of tea. That looks like a really nice catch. So there's some really interesting ways of dealing with this Daisy Duck, which are going to promote cards which otherwise looked a bit weird, but Lumiere seems like a really nice option. Trevor mentioned it earlier. Sorry I missed it, Trevor. I'm a bad streamer. Forgive me. Thanks all guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. Has anyone seen my Nightbot post my TCG player link? Yeah, guys, if you're based in North America and you're buying cards, please use my TCG affiliate link. I just got one. I get like 3.5% of all the money you spend comes into my back pocket. And guess what I'm going to spend it on? Packs. I'm going to spend it on packs. I'm planning on getting 3 cases on release day. It's quite a lot of packs. A case is 4 boxes, so I'm getting like 12 boxes. Because I'm an IRL Disney Lorcana creator. Jeez. Okay, so it does seem like there's actually more ways to deal with Daisy Duck than first meet the eye, right? So I guess now would be a good time to like question which ink colors can deal with it and which are going to really struggle. Like Ruby has ways of dealing with it with the Simba and moreover actually the Lumiere. The Lumiere actually seems like the best way of dealing with it possibly in the game. Maybe not exactly. So Ruby and Steel have good ways of dealing with it because of Lumiere as well as Mickey Mouse in Steel, right? So Mickey Mouse and Lumiere on 2 for Steel and Ruby. How about Sapphire? Like, how is Sapphire dealing with a Daisy Duck? Probably not very well, right? I mean, Sapphire we know is a slow starter. It did get a new 1-drop, which I really like the look of, which is Basil. This is a great 1-drop. So Basil Practiced Detective is a 2-1 support card. And I mean, if you compare this to other support cards which cost 1, we have Hey Hey, which is like a 1-2, which never saw play, but obviously for support, you'd rather have the strength. And there's also a 6-cost Basil, which is Shift 5, but if you use Shift to play this character, you may draw 2 cards when he enters play. Pretty good. So Basil's kind of interesting. Basil's not really helping you deal with a... Not really helping you deal with a Daisy Duck though, is it? But with it's just 1 willpower. So, like, Sapphire is going to struggle probably. Sapphire tends to like playing Porpsicles on turn 1. And I think that this, like, Daisy Duck is going to mean that these Sapphire decks are going to have to be less greedy and include some answers for Daisy Duck. Like, I don't think that the Sapphire decks are just going to be able to afford to play Porpsicle on 1 jump on 2, and just let these Daisy Ducks quest out. Like, you need some kind of other card in the mixer to help you out. Ideally, a card on turn 1, which is like a 2/2 or something. Like you wouldn't want to put Owl in your deck, would you? Let's be honest. But that is kind of what Daisy Duck might force you to do. In terms of 2-cost cards in Sapphire, I don't think there's anything here which is helping you particularly. Doesn't really look like it does the... This is putting location into opponent's inkwell. Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. So Sapphire seems like it's going to be struggling against Daisy Duck, which makes sense. Sapphire is like the ramp deck. It has a slow start. So if you're playing Sapphire this set, you're going to need probably some way of dealing with Daisy Duck. Now, one approach could be that you just go turbo ramp. And one thing I will say that Ruby also has, we didn't talk about, in at 3 cost, which obviously is a little bit late to be dealing with Daisy Duck, but this Sisu card is definitely an interesting option to deal with Daisy Duck, right? It's just a pretty clean, bam, play it and remove one. Doesn't need to be exerted. Would a support centered? Probably, I mean, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. Again, I think that, like, as fun as combo decks can be, I think this Daisy Duck, like, it's similar to like a Bucky deck, right? Like in the past, like when I look at decks in the current metagame, I'm like, okay, if the deck can't beat Bucky, why am I playing it? And I think that this Daisy Duck is going to be so prevalent in the game that if you can't beat Daisy Duck, play a different deck. Hey Harlan, great to see you. Oh, I saw that message retracted, mate. I saw that. Guys, Harlan here in the YouTube chat has been posting some YouTube videos recently. He's going to unretract his message and then you guys can go follow him. Subscribe. If you guys want Blue Steel, hey FPS, good to see you. FPS also posts some videos. Go check him out. Go check him out. I'm good. I'm just going to deck build all day, which is pretty fun. It's pretty hot though, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty warm. So, all right, let's look at like Emerald's answers to... so the other thing to consider is some of these like unorthodox shift cards, right? Like Diablo, because you can shift it in early. If there's a unorthodox shift card with like 4 strength, then that could be an interesting way of doing it. I don't think there is outside of the Flotsam Jetsam, which I don't think you can shift in time anyway. Turn 1, yes. True, Kian. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. You could go turn 1 Pluto. I actually made this exact comment in my Great Minds Think Alike in my Discord. Turn 1 Pluto allows you to play the Sisu on turn number 2, which could be a nice way of dealing with Daisy Duck. Pluto also would let you play a 3-cost rush card on turn 2. So something like a Madam in Fox. You could play the Fox, bounce the Pluto back, bam! That could be a pretty good way also of dealing with Daisy Duck. So Pluto definitely does seem like a pretty reasonable option as a way of dealing with these. What I will say is I think it's quite possible that these Daisy Duck decks are going to play Amethyst with Befuddles as well to try and really make life miserable for you, because Befuddle's also going to be good in the Daisy Duck mirrors, right? Hey Richard, great to see you. I haven't actually been streaming much recently, but I'm going to be streaming more than ever with the release of Shimmering Skies. The plan is to do quite a lot of webcam streams and then hopefully do some live streams from local game stores and stuff. I've got all the equipment I need now, basically. I've got some new microphones, cameras. I've spent like £3,500 on equipment this month. So hope it pays off. It's paying off so far. And I'm about to spend another £1,000 on packs. But I'm not going to complain about that. That just sounds like fun. My YouTube title is going to be, I spent £1,000 on Shimmering Skies. I mean, how could I say no to such a YouTube title, right? So, how is Emerald dealing with Daisy Duck? That's the next question. Probably not very well. You're probably going to want to pair it with something. I mean, Pegasus 3 shift. Oh, improvise. This is a card I always quite liked. And honestly, it seems better now than ever. We looked at the Jafar card, like the Hypnotic Strength, which is like a Amethyst version of this. It's a new card. It costs 2. Character gets Challenger 2 and draws a card. Improvise, mate. Oh, I'm loving the stand-in desk. It's great. Huge fan. It's so nice that I can like stand up, and then when I actually sit down, it's like, oh. So I think improvise could definitely find its way into the metagame. In fact, I'd be surprised if it doesn't. I think that's how prevalent Daisy Duck is going to be. So if you pair Emerald with Steel or Emerald with Amethyst, you go turn 1 Rafiki or Captain Hook, improvise on turn 2, plus something else, remove a Daisy Duck. Bam! That's pretty good. So in an Emerald Amethyst deck, you could have Rafiki on 1, improvise plus Befuddle on 2, and you could deal with 2 Daisy Ducks at once, and you've still got your Rafiki on the board. That's pretty nice. Megara from first set, that's actually true as well. Megara's giving extra strength as well, right? It's like the standard bearer and the Mickey. That's really, really good point. That's a good catch. Go on, Chris. Yeah, Megara is a great option as well. Absolutely. Okay. So Steel has Mickey Mouse on 2, Emerald has Megara, and Ruby has Lumiere. So 3 different ink colors have good turn 2 options, which aren't rush to deal with Daisy Duck. Why not Vicious Betrayal? Vicious Betrayal, I mean, that honestly isn't the worst idea as a way of dealing with Daisy as well, I have to say. It is a little bit of an unorthodox card. Vicious Betrayal, which one's that? I think this is a different... Oh, you were thinking this? Oh, right, because that's actually a good point. The problem with Vicious Betrayal compared with Improvise, great question, Victor, is that Improvise replaces itself. It's what's known as a cantrip, which I think is a magic phrase. I don't really know. But Vicious Betrayal, you play it, and that's just 1 card less in your hand, which that is like 1 card less in your hand for the rest of the game, right? Compared with Improvise, which is replacing itself. So while Vicious Betrayal does have extra strength, Improvise is just better in general because it is not giving you 1 less card in hand. Like action cards which don't draw need to be very high impact, which is why cards like Vicious Betrayal never tend to see play. Improvise also doesn't tend to see play, but it's a card I have played before. It is an underrated card, and it has just kind of been waiting for the right metagame to be near auto-include in Emerald. And I think that right about now is probably that moment. I think this card looks great. Stampede, I thought you were talking about, could also be kind of an interesting option, but probably a bit too niche. Bounce, that's also true. There's Bounce on 2. Not great. It's definitely not as good as Befuddle. Jolly Roger and Hook. Does Jolly Roger give you extra strength? I don't think it does, right? But Jolly Roger is definitely an interesting suggestion because it could give you rush on turn 2 with something that's not a hook, right? So Jolly Roger is characters gain rush, pirate characters may move here for 3. So if there's any pirate characters with 4th strength that you can play on 2, Jolly Roger plus that will do the business. There's also the Ruby Chromicon. This card's great anyway. This card's really, really good, right? So you could play Rafiki or Captain Hook on turn 1, and then the Chromicon on turn 2. Bam! Instant exert. So there's actually way more answers for the Daisy Duck than I thought. Which, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't underestimate the power of the Lorcana devs. They know what they're doing, guys. They really, really do. Bro, this Aldi, like, lilt type drink is so good. Unbelievable. If you know, you know. Cantrip is a D&D term. Is it really? Oh, yeah. I started playing Baldur's Gate the other day and Cantrip was on there. Yeah, yeah. That is interesting, though. Okay, so there's actually lots of ways of dealing with Daisy, which is good. Otherwise, the meta might be a little bit dicey. So, what deck should we build first, everybody? What deck would you like to see us build first? Let's have it in the chat. What do you think I should start off by building? Blue, purple, amber, amethyst? Does Chromicon mean you don't need Hercules for castle? Yeah, definitely. This card is really, really good. Merlin is broken. Unconvinced. Steel songs. Jim Hawkins locations. Let's go for Amber Ruby Steel songs. A fun Mickey deck. Daisy aggro. I also kind of think that Daisy aggro might be a good place to start, not going to lie. Robin Hood. Oh, guys, I'm so excited. There's so much to do. There is so much to do. Thank you for all the suggestions. Let's start with a Daisy Duck deck, since we've been talking about her so much. Yeah, know thy enemy. I agree. Okay, so how many copies of Daisy? Well, I think it's safe to say there's going to be 4 copies of Daisy. Just a hunch. So obviously we need to consider what we're going to combine Daisy with. But first, let's just like look at all of the amber cards that we know. Oh, Jafar, yes, please. Let's look at all of the other cards that we're going to definitely always play now. We might jump to Lilo. Lilo is definitely a very good option. But I have to say, like, Daisy, like, you can play in like any deck. You really can. And there is some mind-blowingly good amber cards. So let's just build an amber deck. We don't have to be hyper aggro. Let's just build a amber deck and kind of see where we end up. That's kind of the way I like doing things. I have to say Pluto looks good, mate. I think Pluto might be good this meta. All right, in at 2 for amber. Nothing really jumping out that's like a must-have for now. Bare necessities, Not really sold on any of this just yet. The amber Chromicon is kind of interesting, but again, not going to be an auto-include, so nothing really there. In at 3, of course, you've got Ariel if you want to go that route. Gaston looks good as well, I think. I think this card could come into its own. This Moana's pretty good. Oh, this is hard to build a deck with just the Daisy Duck, because the Daisy Duck can just go into anything. I have to say, I think that Songs of Ariel does seem good. Oh, this is more difficult than I ever imagined. It is so hot, guys. Has anyone got some aircon here for the UK? I need some. My goodness. I'm sweating. Before I started the stream, I had no shirt on, but I don't think that would be wise to do again. Not going to lie, I want to build Amber Ruby. I want to build Amber Ruby. We're building Amber Ruby. That gives us more of a direction. Robin Hood at 4 with Revive and Rapunzel. Yes, please. So we're not building Mufasa, guys. Relax. No Mufasa. I'm not interested. You guys know that I've never been a big Mufasa believer. I do think the deck will still be good, but I want to build around this card a bit more. So Robin Hood Sharpshooter. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an action card with cost 6 or less and play it for free. Put the rest in your discard. So we need a lot. We can do some maths on this. Chat will do it for me. How many actions do we need in a deck for this to consistently hit? That's a good question. And a lot of you will say, isn't this card bad because it has to quest? It is true that I do like cards which have an instant impact on the game the turn you play them. Because if they're then removed, they still trade up to removal. However, this Robin Hood card is cheap enough and strong enough that it kind of has to be answered. So it is going to be absolutely throwing your opponent off their game plan. Like, you play the Robin Hood on 4, your opponent wants to play like a Maui on 5 or something, but instead they have to take a turn off the Brawl. Like, that's a pretty big deal. So we're playing 4 copies of this Robin Hood card, and there was another card I wanted to throw in. Brawl. Yeah, I was just talking about Brawl. Brawl is an action card. Happy days. So we can put in some copies of Brawl here as well. 3 of them. 4 of them. 4 Brawls. This site's pretty smooth. Pretty impressed by inkborn.app. Good job. Okay, so that's a good start for the deck. We've got a Daisy Duck, we've got a Rapunzel, we've got a Robin Hood. Now there's another new card I'm interested in Amber. And it's an action. And it's called Revive. Play a character card with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. Well, look at this. We've got 2 very good ones. We've got Rapunzel, we've got Robin Hood. I mean, we can also put Maui in the deck, let's be honest. Some things never change. Maui's still pretty good. So in Maui goes. And we're currently at 24 cards. We're probably going to be on Mother Gothel. I think Mother Gothel is probably a safe bet as well with Rapunzel. We're probably going to be on Gaston as well. Like, Gaston on turn 3 allows you to go Mother Gothel, Rapunzel on 4. And this deck kind of lives and dies by getting Rapunzel through. We're also going to be on the 1-drop Milan, probably. Kind of. Also, Lumiere does look kind of good. Like we were just talking about dealing with your opponent's daisies. So there's some pretty good one drops available now. I mean, a problem that Ruby Amber has had in the past is that there hasn't been good one drops, but you've now got Mulan, Daisy Duck, Pluto looks like it's gotten quite a bit better. It is uninkable, and you've already got Daisy Duck as uninkable, so there is that. Is there any other actions which are like jumping to mind in this? Yeah, reviving Maui would absolutely be fantastic, and reviving Rapunzel as well is no joke. Just in time could be an option. Yep, I do like just in time. You might not have enough card draw for that. I do love a bit of just in time though. Like that is not a bad idea. Let's see if we can we filter by action. Hello. Okay. So these are the Ruby and Amber actions. Let's like look at the most expensive ones. Robin Hood is one which costs 6 or less. There is one missing here actually. There is one missing. Because there is a 6 cost Amber card. Let's see if we delete this, if it shows up. Yeah, here you go. It's showing up under song. Name a card, return all character cards with that name from your discard to your hand. That could be good. Yeah, any song is an action. I don't know if it's that good. Obviously, like, you use this on Rapunzel, happy days. But I'm not really convinced because it's uninkable. Even though it's a 6 cost, if you hit it with Robin Hood, happy days. Oh, Chernobog's going to be in this deck as well, isn't it? We can put 1 copy of Chernobog in quite safely. Oh, there's also... Oh my goodness, there's this guy too. Whoa! Have you seen this card, everybody? Gaston, Pure Paragon. Oh my days, 1 second. I bind it in here? Yes. Okay, I finally have an opportunity, guys, in set 5 to show off my precious. You ready? This is a binder, by the way, guys. This is a binder. There's some juice in here. Oh! Ignore the Robin Hood. That's not really supposed to be there. I got rid of my Diablo. It was there. But look, my first ever enchanted I packed. Jeez! Time for a bit of Chernobogs because Robin Hood is populating the Chernobogs, right? For Chernobog. This card's insane. Look at it. What a card. This is one of the best cards in the set, isn't it? So... Gaston Pure Paragon is for each damage character you have in play, you pay 2 ink less to play this character. So suddenly like the 3 cost beast, the Milan 1 drop are more interesting because you're rewarded for that. There's also this, like basically I think every ink color has like a 9 cost card, which is doing something like this. You've got, is it every ink color? Is there any missing it? You've got Namiri, which is for every character you banished in a challenge this turn, it becomes 2 cheaper. There's Sheriff of Nottingham, which is for every item you have in play, this becomes 1 cheaper and it has support. Namiri has resist 3. There's Gaston, which is for each damage character you have in play, you pay 2 ink less to play this. This is such an insane card as well. This is one of my favorite cards from the set. For each 1 damage on opposing characters, you pay 1 less. That's it. If your opponent has a Maui with 4 damage counters, this is going to cost you 5. Holy moly, that's good. There's Olaf, which is for each exerted character opponents have in play, you pay 1 ink less, and it's evasive 6/6. And there's Kristoff, which is for each song card in your discard, you pay 1 ink less to play this character, and it has bodyguard. So they're all really good. I think the best is Robin Hood. Maybe Gaston. Yeah, we should look at other songs. Like, we want to make our Robin Hood a bit better, right? Robin Hood's kind of the build-around card. Is there any other cards which stand out that are like auto-include in this ink color combination to you guys? Don't say Bufasa. I know you're going to say it. I know it's on the tip of your tongue. Let's go song, action, Amber, Ruby. So obviously, the more expensive, the better. There is this new song which doesn't work with Robin Hood because it costs 7. Ready all characters, they can't quest for the rest of this turn. I don't really like this card that much. There's some potential synergy with this in a Wreck-It Ralph deck Bee King, that's true. Bee King is not a bad shout. Let's look at this family. Pirate's Life. Pirate's Life is inkable. You'd be very happy to play it for free. I'm not sure if you would really want it outside of that. Obviously, look at this family doesn't really seem like an option because it costs 7. Pirate's Life is an interesting shout. Dragonfire, not a bad card. It is very uninkable though. Glimmer versus Glimmer, I doubt it. On your feet now. Bee King is a good card. Bee King is definitely a good card. You Have Forgotten Me is not a bad card. There's not that much outside of the Brawl. Another one of your reckless characters. So that's maybe something that Robin Hood is struggling for, is like actual good cards to be hitting. Because as much as I want to build around this card, I don't want to fill the deck with jank. We're at currently 8 targets for Robin Hood, which is not bad. On Your Feet does put damage counters on your own cards, yeah. We need to determine how many action cards are needed in the 60 card deck. Yeah, I think we're looking at around the 60. It should be the same maths as Aerial, right? It's the same maths as Aerial. So to be hitting about 80% of the time, you would need 20 actions. And I don't think it's as important to hit with Robin Hood as it is with Aerial. So I think we could easily be at like 16. And a lot of people play Aerial around 16, right? So it is going to be about kind of finding that balance. I mean, the other thing to consider is if we are already playing Robin Hood and there's a lot of songs that we want to play, which currently there isn't, like Revive and Brawl are not songs, they're just actions. We could also look at playing Aerial. Right. So the other kind of actions we could look at are actions like, for example, Improvise. Like that could be an interesting, like Emerald Ruby deck if you're already playing Improvise. Because think about Robin Hood hit. Oh, that's so good. Think about Robin Hood hitting Improvise. Okay, it's a 1-cost card. You might be like, that's bad. But you're playing a 1-cost card for free, which is drawing you a card. Oh, damn. So if you can have an action or song which draws and you hit it off Robin Hood is drawing you a card. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, let's put China Bog in the deck in a moment. So invited to the ball, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, put reveal character card into your hand, put the rest on the bottom. It's kind of okay. It is uninkable, which is what I don't like about it. This doesn't draw. There's Teeth and Ambitions, which, sure, it's okay. Not really loving any of these, if I'm honest. Bee King is definitely an option. Dragonfire, Pirate's Life is actually kind of interesting too. I don't know. This deck doesn't look as good as I was expecting it to so far. Not gonna lie. Like maybe the Robin Hood does need a deck where you're playing. Like I mean, Emerald Robin Hood already sounds kind of good. Like Robin Hood, basically Robin Hood from Ruby cards. You have Brawl, right? And that's about it. So you need to pair the Robin Hood with an ink color which has lots of actions you want to play. And the kind of cantrip actions seem like good options. You could play Be Our Guest, you could play Painting the Roses Red, you could play these kinds of cards. They're just not as high impact as I would hope, right? Blast from the Past could be good because we could also play Naveen. Pirate's Life also could be sung by Naveen for free, but it is less cards in hand. We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah, that's true. So are we maybe pivoting this deck to a Ruby Emerald deck instead with Robin Hood? Like maybe the key is to just completely build around the card. Kind of want to build around Robin Hood, not going to lie. Like I really like the look of this card. Robin Hood Revives does seem great though, I have to say. Yeah, You Have Forgotten Me does seem like a good option. It is a card I like in general. It's inkable. I think it's just a pretty good card. I can see You Have Forgotten Me being in there. Painting the Roses Red is like Improvise. It is, but it's like a worse Improvise, right? Healer's What Has Been Hurt and Healing Touch also could be good. Bare Necessities is quite strong, but again, like... I do think we're kind of looking at... I mean, Bruno's Return, is that good? Return a character card from your discard to your hand, then remove up to 2 damage? Wait, isn't Bruno's Return maybe good? It's not a card you would want in your hand, is it? Let's be honest. But you wouldn't be that unhappy. Bruno's Return could be, like, could be good enough in this deck, right? It's an action which is, if you find it off Robin Hood, it is drawing you a card. If it's in your hand, it's not that bad in this deck, right? It's similar to like the 4-cost Hades. Honestly, Bruno's Return seems like one of the better options. Healing as well, right? The healing is probably going to be relevant. Go the distance, ready, chosen damaged character viewers they can't quest. It's not terrible. I don't know. I'm not really that sold on this list. Let's go and try and build around Robin Hood with a different color. I think Emerald could be good. I don't know. So Ruby, Emerald. I mean, it's Robin Hood. It's got to be Emerald, right? See if we can give this a refresh and it doesn't delete our deck. Uh-oh. That's unfortunate. So we had Robin Hood. I mean, of course, like, if we're going, if we're not going to have Rapunzel stuff now, so it's not even going to be Mother Gothel anymore, is it? This Robin Hood card does just seem so good to me. If you can get the right setup. So let's look at the actions. We know there's going to be Brawl. Because that is kind of it, right? In Ruby that we're interested in. Like, all the other cards are kind of lackluster. But already I mentioned that I like Improvise a lot. And Improvise is great with Robin Hood. And I think we talked about earlier, if you just joined us, that Improvise is a good way of dealing with Daisy Duck, for example. Red Steel, yeah, I could see it. I could see it being good in Ruby Steel. You can play Whole New World. Oh, it does. Do you know what? It does seem really good in Steel. Should we build Ruby Steel? This Robin Hood card's cracked. Ursula's Trickery might actually also be quite good with Robin Hood. Like, this card is a weird card because it doesn't really make sense to ever include. But suddenly, if you're playing it for free off of Robin Hood, it does, right? Because your Robin Hood comes through and your opponent either discards or you draw. So it's like Robin Hood plus discard or plus draw, which is pretty good. Just doesn't make sense to pay for this, but it's not that bad in your deck. If it was Inkable, I'd be really into it. Strike a Good Match, pretty good option. It's going to give you consistency. Strike a Good Match could definitely work. Sudden Chill, Hypnotize. Oh, it does look good in this. I imagine Hypnotize off of Oh My Days. Oh My Days, guys. Think about that. Imagine you hit Hypnotize off Robin Hood. Your opponent... So you quest with Robin Hood for 2. You draw a card, and your opponent discards a card while you quest for 2. Whoa, that's so good. Isn't that insane? That is wildly good. So obviously we're going to play Prince John. Shock. It's an Emerald deck that Spessie's building, and they put Prince John in it. Who's surprised? No one. Oh my days, look at this. Okay, this is a deck. You're welcome. Shuffle chosen character, item, or location into their player's deck. That player draws 2 cards. That's good. Remember who you are. I mean, you could. It's a bit uninkable. Be king, you could. Also quite uninkable. I'm really interested in the cards which can draw. Bruno, get in the deck. Anything else that costs 6 or more? Under the Sea, no. I mean, how many is that? That is 8, 12. That's 16. That's 20 with like no effort. Like, I'm happy for all of these in the deck. That's 20 and I want all of these in the deck. We don't even have like Sudden Chill yet. We could play Sudden Chill as well. And then we're at like 24. Like, this Robin Hood is just so consistent. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good build around card. So, is there anything else that we're interested in here? Maybe this, but I doubt it. Maybe this. Kind of doubt it. Mother Knows Best is good. This card's kind of interesting as well. Draw a card, chosen character gains Reckless during the next turn. It would be good off Robin Hood, but otherwise probably not. Sudden Chill could be an option. Hypnotic Deduction. Wait, that's true. Holy. Forgot about this. Draw 3. That is good. That is pretty good. Put 2 cards from your hand on the top of your deck in any order. Is that good enough? Might be. Might be good enough. So you find out of Robin Hood, you draw 3, you put 2 on. So it's still only +1. I don't know. It's definitely an option. I don't think it's as good as these other ones though. This Robin Hood card looks like my kind of card. I really like it. Can use it to set up the top of your deck. That's true, you can. I don't think I want to pay 2 for this though. Like, I don't mind paying the full price for any of these because Your Welcome and Bruno are songs. Hypnotize, I don't mind paying 3 for in the right situation. Brawl, I'm very happy to pay 3 for, and I don't mind paying 1 for Improvise. Whereas, like, Hypnotic Deduction, what's this deck's answer to Daisy? Well, we have Brawl, we have Improvise, so yeah, we're going to have answers. Improvise is one of the best ways of dealing with Daisy. If you can, I guess this is not because we don't have a 1-cost card which can challenge, do we? But we could play Lumiere maybe. Even then, we don't really quite have a clean answer to Daisy, do we? Let's be honest. I mean, maybe the answer to Daisy is just out aggro it. I don't know. Daisy does seem like a problem for our deck, not going to lie. There's Arthur. Don't think we want to play Arthur though, do we? This is a pretty good card though. This could help us out, maybe. I hope Pete shows up. Yeah. So how do we deal with Daisy? Uh-oh. Jolly Roger. Probably not. There's Megara. Megara might be how we're dealing with Daisy, right? We just have a 2-2 on 1. Like, what are our options for turn 1 that are like 2-2s? Is there anything we actually particularly want to play? Doesn't really seem like it. There's Li Sheng, there's Mulan, Arthur, Sergeant Tibbs. All pretty lackluster 1-drops. We could just say that we don't care though. Oh, Diablo. With this many actions, we're playing Diablo, right? Doesn't matter that Bucky's gone, I think. Are we playing Diablo with this many actions? Surely we are, right? It'd be a bit rude not to, I think. Like, thing is, there should be less answers to Diablo in the meta. Also, there's this card. This is actually potentially an answer for Daisy as well, right? This was in my Discord. Because it's giving something reckless, the Daisy wouldn't be able to quest and would have to challenge, and also this can just chill on the board and your opponent loses lore. So this could be, if you don't actually have a way of consistently removing the stuff early on, you could still play Lyle. Bro, this deck is so weird. I'm so confused. How are we building decks and this is what we're looking at? Like, what is going on, mate? I have to say, guys, this set, the meta is so wide open, it's unbelievable. Like, the power level we've got from this set is through the roof. It is through the roof. It is hot, by the way. I am very warm. Can you tell? Ooh. Guys, I missed subs on Twitch. I'm so sorry. Alec and Criminal, thank you so much for the subs. I really appreciate it. Right, water break. What about that Reckless 3-1? The fact that it's only got 1 willpower is a big problem. Because it gets removed when it challenges Daisy Duck, right? Guys, I'm so confused with what decks to build. I'm having fun though. But I'm already not convinced by my deck build. I need someone to like tell me off and say, Spessy, build this deck. Because I start building a deck and then I get distracted. I'm like, I don't know. Prince John is pretty good, but this Daisy Duck thing is such an interesting conundrum. How do you deal with it? What about the 2-drop and shift Mulan? The 2-drop Mulan, like again, the 2-drop Mulan, it's getting befuddled, mate. That's the reality. You kind of need something a little bit more reliable, I feel like. I think Queen of Hearts is definitely a decent option, I think, in this meta. I think this card can see a lot of play. Amber Amethyst with Daisy and Bounce sounds pretty OP. It does sound pretty good. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to like optimize decks. I just want to kind of have a look at what's possible. So I'm happy that we had a look at this. Let's look at something different. Let's keep looking at some cool decks. I'm kind of in that mode for now. I'm not really in the mode to like build a full 60 and optimize it necessarily. I just kind of want to get like an idea of what different decks can be built and how things are looking. And then if there's something that like really grabs my attention, we'll build the full 60 for it. But I think at the moment, building a full 60 when we haven't really got a good concept of what is good is maybe not that wise. So this is kind of a better idea because we're kind of getting what kind of color combinations could be interesting. I do like the idea of Ruby Steel. I'm pretty keen to build Ruby Steel. So let's take a look at what that might look like. Mickey Mouse, yes. Also this like standard bearer thingy-majigger could be good, but I like the 5-drop Mickey as well. Oh, Robin Hood in this deck. Yeah. Okay, now we're cooking. This could be the deck. Robin Hood in Steel. That is a pretty good way of playing Whole New World, isn't it? That is a pretty good way of playing Whole New World, my friends. So we've got Maui. We've got the Whole New World. Pretty keen on this Mickey Mouse shift idea as well. We can play the 2-drop Mickey, which is good. Can't not play Smee, can you? The card's insane. All right, now we're cooking. See how quick this is sometimes? Brawl. We want like 20 actions or so. We could play Babooms. We could play Smash. Smash for free sounds pretty good. Okay, so we might want some more shifters, possibly, rather than just Mickey. What are the other action/songs available in Steel? In particular, ones which can draw cards are what we're interested in. Obviously, there's some good control options. Ransack draws 2, discards 2. It doesn't add cards to your hand, even if you find it off Robin Hood. Let the storm rage on. Oh, also, I just thought of a card that exists in Steel now. Let's put that in the deck. Do you guys know the card I'm talking about? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Pete, the referee. This card is doing stuff. Pat. Yeah, if you guys don't know what this card does, there you go. You're welcome. It stops your opponent playing actions or songs next turn. Well, I guess just actions, because all songs are actions. That's pretty good. Okay, any other actions/songs in Steel? We know that the Ruby doesn't really have that many other good ones. It can cost up to 6. I don't think there's anything that costs more than 6. Oh, there's Mob Song. Sure. So, Tug of War is a new card, which I don't like particularly. Deal 1 damage to each opposing character without evasive. Deal 3 damage to each opposing character with evasive. I don't really like this card. P on 3, Robin Hood on 4, opponent can't brawl. They can, right? You play P on 3, and then it's your opponent's turn, they can't brawl. Then you play Robin Hood and they can brawl. Airfoil? I don't like Airfoil, no. It's so slow, man. You don't need such a slow way of drawing cards. There's better ways. Avalanche, Zeus, Shaw, They're not drawing me cards. I want cards which draw. This draws. Chosen character can't challenge you in the next turn. It's kind of whatever. None of this draws. Baboom's good though. So, how many are we on in terms of actions? We're on 4, 8, 12. We probably want to play some Grab Your Swords, don't we? Quite possibly even 4. Quite possibly even 4. That is a lot. We need to be careful of uninkables. Maybe I'll go 2 or something. So we're currently at 4, 8. Here? Am I missing something? 4, 8, 12, 14. I think Baboom, Smash, these kinds of cards, Zeus, Strength, Could be okay. Go the distance of steel, Robin Hood, double attack. Maybe. Add the 1 and 5 drop Robin Hood. Probably, sure. It's just another shift target. Like, we do probably just want another shift line, right? Have we got the Mickey Standard Bearer? We do. So yeah, the Robin Hood also does just seem like a decent option on turn 1. Oh, there's also Simba Shift as an option as well, which we could consider. This card is very good. I like this card a lot. So this card is banishing a item or location when it hits the board. So there's also a new 3-cost Simba as well, which could be good options. So that's another interesting shift line. So the 3-cost Simba is also Benja, mate. Benja. Get in my deck. There's so many items in this meta. Or in this set, I should say. I don't know about the meta yet, but Benja could be great. During a turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card. Card draw in Ruby Steel. Yes, please. I think this is good enough, right? You can sing Storm Rage on. It could be a shift target for the big Simba, which can help us deal with locations. Do we think Simba's good enough? I think it might be. Also both in the starter deck, fun fact. No, it broke. It was all going so well. Right, can we save? Ruby Steel. Let's see. Let's try and save it. Let's try and edit it now. How does one edit? Pog. Okay, we wanted the 6-cost Simba perhaps as another shift target and a way of dealing with locations. And maybe we want Robin Hood as the other shifter. That does sound pretty reasonable. Robin Hood and Robin Hood. How's this looking? Not bad. I mean, we've got Smee in there, which could maybe go. Maybe want to add some more... There's obviously like a lot of tech cards in here, like the Benja could go. Hard to argue with Sad Beast, but I think like this deck is probably wanting to just shift Whole New World. It's kind of the most important thing, I feel like. Kind of hard to argue with Benja, I feel like, but maybe you don't care enough about it. Do you want to build around the actions? Yeah, we have a bunch. We have, I mean, we could add some more, but we have, that was what I built around. The kind of idea of the build around is just Robin Hood into Whole New World. Like, that is a big deal. Because previously this deck would have to get a 5-cost character to stick and a Whole New World in hand. But if you can Robin Hood into a... I wonder if you could play I was going to say Robin Hood Jafar with a Whole New World, but that's 3 different ink colors. 3 different ink colors. What's the lore plan? Just control the board. You've got big control. I think you just control the board. You sing Whole New World. You play more threats, and you should be all right. It is true we're a little bit low on Lauras. Not gonna lie, but maybe that's fine. Zeus. Yeah, you could. Zeus is very uninkable, but probably some Zeus would be a good idea. We don't have really that much good stuff to sing Zeus with, but we probably should play a few more characters. It's hard really to justify getting rid of Smee. Maybe the Benja could go, but I think Benja's good. There's also this big guy we should look at. For each damage character you have in play, you pay 2 ink less to play this character. Might not quite fit this deck. Why Mickey? Hello, good to see you. Hope you're well. Why Mickey? Because this new... Well, the standard bearer is good in the meta to deal with Daisy Duck because you can have like Robin Hood on 1, Mickey on 2. And this is like... The main reason is because this Mickey Mouse is undeniably difficult to deny the shift from. With resist 1, it basically just can't be removed. before you shift if you go in first. Doesn't Robin just die to all the same answers as Daisy Duck? Yeah, I'm not really that sold on the Robin Hood, this one, but we want some other shift options. But yeah, this if you're playing Ruby Steel, you're playing this card 100%. Shift 3 with 2 different targets that are so difficult to prevent shifting. That is consistency in your mulligan. If you see this card, you keep it in your mulligan, right? You really, really are. I honestly don't know if I like the Robin Hood particularly, but in fairness, we do want a 1-drop anyway as a 2-2. Like the 2-2 stat line on a 1-drop is a lot better when you have Mickey Mouse to play on 2. It's a lot better. But also we could play Captain Hook. The shift Captain Hook is just very uninkable. That's the problem, right? There's also this guy. This Kronk. There's a 2-drop Kronk. But I don't think we can quite justify it. Honestly, with the whole new world, though, it could be really, really good. Rare Guardian of the Dragon Gem for a 4-drop? I doubt it. I mean, I don't even know what the card does, which probably tells you what you need to know. Raya. When you play this character, ready chosen character of yours at a location. I don't think so. This card's pretty good. It's a lot of good cards, that's for sure. Yzma. During your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes character in a challenge, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. Probably do want some Zeus, right? Wouldn't Milan shift? Jafar seems better. Big Queen of Hearts. Could play Big Queen of Hearts because the 2-drop Queen of Hearts is pretty good. I could see it. I can kind of see it. Not really sure on the Robin Hood. What do you guys think about Simba? I think Simba's good, right? Like, I think both Simba cards are just solid. This one's like a bit of card draw, and this one's dealing with locations and items. So maybe we don't need Benja. Benja out. Sad. Small Simba. Nah, the small Simba's really bad. I mean, unless there's like another Simba that's not the 1-drop. But stats on turn 1 are very important, right? I mean, the other thing to consider is like Flynn Sisu. Like, honestly, the 3-drop Sisu with a whole new world sounds kind of insane, right? This card does sound pretty good with a whole new world. Man, it's hard to build decks. I love this game. So fun. Set 4 was the worst deck building experience in terms of like competitive decks because Bucky warped it so much. Everything is so wide open. And also the power of this this set is very, very high. It's the highest power level set we've had since set 1. Like, obviously set 1 doesn't really count. It's kind of like in its own way because obviously it was the first set, so it was infinitely more powerful than what became before it, if that makes any sense. You can't really evaluate set 1 power level compared with the rest, right? But certainly if we compare this set to set 2, set 3, set 4, this is the highest power level we've had. And I don't think it's even close, actually. Needing Avalanche? Avalanche would be okay, though, but... Again, we don't need to really, like, perfect these decks. It's kind of just like a concept. And I think maybe if we put in, like, a couple copies of Smash or something, I just kind of want the cards to be inkable. We have 4, 8, 12, 16... 14 uninkables. So I think something like Smash would be a nice option as opposed to or maybe even Strength. Strength's singable. Maybe Strength is better, right? Like we have Pete and Simba to sing. So I think maybe we go Strength instead. A couple copies of that. I think that's reasonable. I'm going to save this one. Is there anything you guys think is a glaringly obvious big miss from this deck that we have to be playing? Yeah, I need to update the channel points, that's true. That is true. They're just slightly dated, aren't they? Holy. Nah, the 3-drop Beast is too bad. Alright, I'm shipping this one. I'm shipping it, guys. I'm locking it in. Do I think this deck's good? I don't think it's bad. Oh, you can't see the bottom of the list. Oh my goodness, I'm in a bad spot, aren't I? There you go. We don't have Sad Beast, but I'm not really that big on Sad Beast. Tinkerbell, yeah, you might want some more top end, it's true, but I think like the main thing is you want shift lines. You just want to be able to sing Whole New World. Yeah, Sisu 3-drop does seem good. Alright, I'm going to name it Robin's New World. Genius deck building name. What can I say? I hope this saves to my profile or something. I don't know. First time using the site. Cool. Okay. Get in is saved. All right, cool. What's up next? Blue purple. That was pretty popular. Let's go with that. So the main things that this deck got is, oh, I want to build Jafar too. The main thing that these decks got, or this deck, oh, Grandpappy. We need to build Grandpappy. There's so much to build, guys. So much to build. So the main thing that Sapphire Amethyst got, which is a pretty big deal, is these two cards that cost 7 and 8. I think they cost 7 and 8, or they both cost 7. Both cost 7. Which is Ana, which is when you play this character, exert all opposing characters. Do a night deck. Oh yeah, we need to. What's one deck do you think will make its way into the meta? Hyper aggro of some sort. I think it's going to be everywhere. Why is this still here? Can you clear? Get in. But even more so, this genie card. This genie card is reading something along the lines of when this character is exerted, opposing characters don't ready at the start of the turn. That's very good. 5/5 also means it trades evenly with Maui, which is a big deal. So something that Sapphire decks struggle with outside of Ruby and outside of Steel is the area of effect control. But Genie, Ana, Elsa give you ways of actually dealing with wide boards. In particular, this Genie, actually. Ana is nice, though, because like the 2-cost Ana could be good. Now, what we need to think about is how do we not lose the hyper aggro? That's kind of what this deck needs to be built to do. If you can get to the late game, you're chilling, because you've got on turn 3, you've got your Mickey Mouse, and you've got... Maybe you could play Mama Odie, but probably not. I also want to build Sapphire Amber with Mama Odie and Prince Naveen. Let's just build it in like a classic way. Could go 1 jump ahead into a 4-drop as well. It's worth considering. I kind of doubt it because I think you just need a bit of an earlier start. Oh, also we need to build... Oh, there's this card, guys. What if we're supposed to build with this card? And the 1-drop. Each player plays with the top card of their deck face up. Bam, Bruno Madrigal, name that card. I do think we need to build it in a way which like this deck can deal with the Mickey Mouse shenanigan stuff. The Daisy Dark, rather. So Rafiki, Befuddles. You can go Rafiki on 1, and then on turn 2, is there like any good follow-up to either give Rafiki some more strength or to... That's the other thing we could probably look at is Captain Hook in that other deck that we were just building. There's Hypnotic Strength, which is okay as a way of dealing with... This would be good with the Robin Hood as well. Very similar to Improvise. My big concern is every time I'm building one of these decks, we really do need to be considering how on earth are we stopping these Daisy Duck decks just win automatically. Like, we have to consider that. It would be remiss of us to just build this deck, be like, yep, that's the deck. Super greedy, and then you queue game 1, and suddenly your opponent's got 3 Daisy Ducks down by turn 2. Cogsworth. Oh, there is the Facilier loop, which is kind of funny. Which we could build a deck for. This game's so difficult to build decks. I love it. It's so hard to build decks, mate. That's why I love this game so much. The deck building is so good. Is there anything on turn 2? There's Lena Saberwing as a 2-1 as a 1/3 rush. Is there any other way we can get extra strength on the board? There's Befuddle. There's Poor Unfortunate Souls. Hypnotic Strength. Why not ramp early game fast? Because I think you're just going to get overrun, mate, by the Daisy Ducks. You can try, but I think it's foolish to think that you're going to be able to ramp in time to deal with Daisy Ducks, particularly with this deck, because it's not like your area of effect stuff at the end of the game is wiping the Daisy Ducks. It's not like you've got a giant Sisu. It's more that you are slowing them down. You can't really let the Daisy Duck gamers get to like 12 lore, 13, 14 lore, I think. You need to really... Yeah, you can play Rafiki in the Challenger card. It's a very slow start, but it would do the trick. It is very, very slow. Now, Argus doesn't counter Daisy Duck. It trades evenly, but it doesn't. It trades down to lore, and you get a card in hand in fairness. Yeah, maybe Hypnotic Strength is just the best bet, and maybe it's a necessary evil. It's not great though, is it? I don't really want to build this deck now. Daisy Duck, man. I really do think that's the way of thinking about deck building though. In set 5. You have to think, okay, how is my deck actually beating Daisy Duck? So Rafiki, Captain Hook. It's more like Megara, Mickey Mouse. So is there another deck that like this Mickey Mouse stuff is good in? This Mickey Mouse being a 1/2 means it can't work with the standard bearer to remove a Daisy. That's worth noting. You would need like a 2/2 or something. There's also Lumiere. I'm Stuck is just pants. It doesn't replace itself. It's just way too niche to actually be good. Amber Steel Song is the hardest match. Is it? Amber Steel Songs. Why? Why is that the hardest match for Daisy Duck? Like, how's Amber Steel Songs dealing with it? I don't know if I agree with that. Oh, Queen. There's Queen, right? That is true. So, yeah, that's actually true. I think let's build Songs. Songs is probably one of the best decks in the game. I think that the Mickey Mouse could be an interesting option as well, actually. Yeah. I actually like the idea of building Songs. Let's build Songs. Songs just looks good. And I think you make a good point that because of Queen Shift on 2, the deck should have a pretty reliable way of... Where is she there? Okay. Queen Shift is definitely one of the best ways of keeping Minnie Mouse at bay. Daisy Duck at bay. Thing is, you probably just play Daisy Duck in this deck anyway. That would be my gut feeling. So you play the Queen. Previously, you would play Robin Hood, but my gut feeling is that now the Mickey Mouse is a better approach than Robin Hood. While the card is worse while it's on the board, it's more consistent to pull this thing off, right? So we can put Ariel in the deck. That's not going anywhere. Whole New World. Grab Swords, maybe more. Prince Naveen is definitely a card worth looking at. When you play this character, you may play a song with 6 cost or less for free. Wow, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. There's also this card. Oh my days, this card's crazy. Whenever you play a song, gain 1 lore. Holy moly. That's pretty good. You're going to play at least a couple of these, probably 4 in this particular deck, I would imagine. It is uninkable. Hey, Arden. Arden, sorry. Okay. Let's look at the other songs available. So, go here. Song. Bare Necessities, Storm Rage on. I find it hard to imagine a world you're not playing lots of copies of Storm Rage on. Zeus is also an interesting option. Blast from the Past, I'm not really convinced by. Hard to argue with One Drop Cindy as well. Yep, I have to agree. I don't know though. I think like other shift options as well, right? Traditionally it's Robin Hood as the other shift option, but I do think the Mickey Mouse is better. So I'm actually gonna, before I put the songs in, I'm actually just gonna put the, I honestly think the Mickey is the way to go. You just want a consistent whole new world in a song deck, right? Maybe it's not the way in this deck, but I don't know. I think it could be. Like the one drop Mickey is so difficult to deny the shift. It just seems like a really, really good potential play. What I will say is what's weird about the one drop Mickey is on turn 2 you kind of want the 2 drop Mickey, and those two aren't enough to combine together to deal with a Daisy Duck. Pete 3 drop is also kind of hard to argue with, I have to say. Simba's kind of interesting as well as an option. But yeah, I agree that Storm Rage on is a must. I think that the one drop Cindy is probably still too good not to play. One drop Cindy kind of has gone out of favor this meta, set 4, because of how popular Diablo is. But Diablo's not going to be that popular anymore. And therefore, there's going to be a lot less 2 damage removal in the meta. So Cinderella is back on the menu. I think you also just play Strength still. It's just consistently good. Consistent control. It is worth mentioning, like, if you're really reliant on trying to pull off the whole new world shift, but I don't think you are so much with Prince Naveen, right? Because you can just play Naveen on 4 for whole new world. You're not really relying on shift whole new world anymore. You still play the Queen because of the fact that you can just shift Queen and answer a Daisy Duck better than anything else. Blast from the Past. I don't know about Blast from the Past. I'm not going to lie. Let's have a look at it. I'm kind of not convinced. It's very uninkable. Name a card, return all character cards with that name from your discard to your hand. What I will say we need is this guy, Christoph. Also uninkable, but for each song in your discard, pay 1 ink less to play this character. Jeez. How many of these do we play? Again, it's uninkable. We need to be careful about unink count. It looks like a card you want to play 4 copies of, to be honest. Kind of just looks like a card you want to play 4 copies of. But it is very, very uninkable. The other thing we're going to be wanting is like lots of songs which are cheap and draw with Alanadale. Like there's the potential for like Alanadale in like an Amber Amethyst deck with cards like, imagine you play It Calls Me, which is a 1-cost song which draws you a card basically. You just draw, like replace self, gain a law. Bruh. Yeah, let's go 2. I don't think you play just 1. It's not like Chernabog, because Chernabog has anti-synergy the more you play. Let's go for 2. But honestly, the more you can squeeze in, the better. Let's look at the other songs available. When Will My Life Begin is a new one, which is chosen character can't challenge during their next turn. There's also Try Everything, which is remove up to 3 damage from chosen character and ready them. They can't quest or challenge. Zeus, Grab Your Sword, Blast from the Past. Smee Rapunzel, hard to argue with. Where's my Daisy Duck? That's also a good question. Where is my Daisy Duck? I don't know. Where is she? Where is Daisy Duck? Get in the deck, mate. It's got to be, right? It's got to be. I mean, look at Golden Harp and Daisy Duck. Is Golden Harp ever better than Daisy Duck in a deck like this? I mean, maybe. Golden Harp has definitely crept into some of the lists. Hard to argue with Smee and Rapunzel. Christoph Quest for 3. It's in Medusa range, though. Currently, we're at 8-12 songs. I think we definitely want quite a few more in this deck. So let's add songs first. Bare Necessities. How good is Bare Necessities going to be in this meta? It's a bit of a meta cool card. I definitely like Bare Necessities overall. Yeah, we have Let the Storm Rage on. We have Strength. Zeus is good if we want to play Ursula on 2. Ursula Vanessa. Blast from the past. Blast from your past. Ariel can't sing this, which puts me off. I don't think we want this card. Yeah, Golden Harp isn't a turn 1 play. That's very true. But it is inkable. Perdita. I do love Perdita, but I don't know if she's really going to make the cut at this stage with uninkables like Prince Naveen in the game now. Criminal Mind we probably do want at least a couple copies of. We also have the Queen, so we can put a couple in. Probably want another Grab Your Sword. Or 2. Let's go to 3. These are the kinds of things that are just going to be very meta dependent, but this seems like a better split. Maybe a couple Bare Necessities of songs. How many songs are we on now? 2, 10, 12, 16, 19. Kind of seems like the right amount, roughly. That kind of ballpark. To be fair, the songs are just going to be meta dependent, right? Like, you know you're going to be playing a bunch of them. These seem like the best kind of ones on average to me. I've never been a huge Zeus fan. I don't really like Zeus. Zeus is definitely good in this deck. I think you can definitely play Zeus, to be fair. Probably should play it. Honestly, I don't think you can, maybe 3. And then I'm going to maybe remove the Bare Necessities. I don't know. I love Bare Necessities as well. Not going to lie. Let's go 2 Zeus, 2 Grab, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. This is kind of a little bit redundant because it's going to be very meta dependent. We're just kind of getting an idea of what the deck looks like. Zeus sounds very good with Naveen, and it's good with Ariel. I'm pretty sure Cinderella is back on the menu, and you don't really care for Ursula Vanessa anymore. Like, Ursula Vanessa was good because Cinderella is just getting removed so often in this meta game because of Diablo. I also agree it's very hard to argue against Mr. Smee. I think, and again, Rapunzel, I also have a hard time arguing against the inclusion of Rapunzel. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with you and put Smee and Rapunzel in. If you aren't going to play the Simba or Rise of the Titans, I'd say Zeus is a must. Yeah, that's probably a fair point. That is probably a fair point. Don't mind me just moving my desk up because I can. Thanks all for being here, by the way. I would still play Daisy. I agree with you. Do you know what I'm a bit worried about? The fact we have about 1 million uninkables right now. Slight concern. We're at 59 cards. Let's add a third Bare Necessities for science and see how many uninkables we're at. We're at 4, 8, 12, 14, 18, 21, 23. That's fine, guys, right? Right? No? Okay. Sven. Oh, we need Sven. Sven is insane. We're obviously going to have to reduce the uninkable count. So Sven is a new 4 cost inkable, which is doing some good stuff. When you play this character, you may ready chosen character. So we could sing with our friend Ariel and then play Sven to ready her. It's pretty good. Not going to lie. I think Sven's got to be in the deck, right? We've got Alan Adeo in there. Christoph, like, if ever there was a deck for it, it seems like this one, but we have so many uninkables. No flutes? You have this guy. This is a flute. Item removal like Benja or Aladdin. Yeah, there's also the Simba card, maybe. Simba's not a bad option, I think. So I don't think Revive's an option. It's so hard to build these decks. I think there's too much at 4. Alan, Prince Naveen, Zeus, Rapunzel. That's kind of true. Do we need Rapunzel? Is the deck maybe consistent enough on finding a whole new world now that you don't need Rapunzel? I think the Daisy Duck is one of the cards which could go. We could play the Harp instead. I think Naveen 3. I don't know. I think it might just be 4. I kind of feel like it might just be 4. Card just seems a bit too good not to play 4 copies of in this deck. Yeah, I mean, we can reduce Grab Your Sword by 1. Kind of, I think Sven is not going to quite make it here because, yeah, we are very heavy on the 4 costs. It's possible Rapunzel goes as well. World's Greatest Criminal Mind is in there. Maybe we just play 1 Kristoff? I don't know. Kristoff is a bit win more, right? It's a really bad card in opening hand. Don't like Rapunzel. I think Rapunzel, you can't really go wrong with Rapunzel in this deck, with Smee especially. And yeah, like, the big problem with this deck is if you don't find Whole New World, you do want the option to draw cards. And at some point, just dumping a Rapunzel. The other thing I'm actually a bit concerned about with this deck is the lack of singing capabilities. So another card we could look at playing is in at 3. There's the new Gaston type card, the Gazelle. This is a Singer 5 card that crests for 2. It's pretty good. Alan goes. Take it back, Rob. Oh, Pete. Hard not to play Pete, innit? Pete's pretty good. Probably should be playing Pete. Oh, Pete. We need a referee. Gonna save and then go back and hopefully it fixes itself. I'm not really convinced by any of the decks we're building here, but that's part of the fun. It's very hard to build. I love it. Meta is wide open, mate. I feel like this card's probably too good not to play, right? So let's do a little uninkable check. Do we get rid of the Daisy Ducks maybe? Maybe. I think we maybe do from this one. Uninkable count is high. We're at 4. 8, 10, 14, 16, 18. Even without the Daisy Ducks, my goodness. Kristoff in opening hand would be a disaster. I have to say, it would be a complete disaster, wouldn't it? $18's not bad. Okay. This seems like a pretty reasonable setup. I wouldn't mind a 3rd Zeus, honestly. I feel like Zeus might be quite good in this one. No, let's play a 3rd Grab Your Swords. Alright, let's ship it. Songs. Again, this deck is like just a kind of concept. I think it's very difficult to refine lists before we actually know what's up. But this looks good. I hope this is getting saved. A bit. Okay, it got saved. Let me delete this one. This website's pretty smooth. I'm pretty impressed. Good job. Inkborn app. Alright. What's up next? What do you guys want to see next? Steel? Amethyst? Jafar? Now we're cooking. This is what I want to build. Oh my goodness. Jafar, Jafar, Jafar. Yes, please. Guys, I don't know if you knew this, but I love Jafar, man. I love Jafar. Jafar is my kind of dude. So, this is the new Jafar card, the new legendary. It's pretty meh, but I actually like it. Does that make any sense? Do you know what else I like in this deck? Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse sounds very good in this deck. Where's the other Mickey boy? Where is the other Mickey boy? This dude. Like, this card, this one cost Mickey Mouse gives you so much consistency on a whole new world. This card is so good for whole new world consistency. So, obviously, the thing to consider is how are you drawing cards if your whole new world gets discarded, right? Excuse me, which is a pretty good question. I don't know. I'm not really sure that there's anything new in set 4 that really helps us out. I do think Pete is particularly good in this deck because Pete is going to be able to stop your opponent removing your Jafars, right? You can just leave your Jafars ready to play Pete. And it's pretty difficult to stop that. I think Storm Rage On and Friends are good as well. 2-cost Jafar is good. I think the Lamp might have gotten better, but there is probably quite a lot of item removal. But the fact that you've got like an extra Jafar. Oh, this card too, the Amethyst Chromicon. This is so good in this deck actually, right? Not the Forbidden Mountain, sorry mate. This card is so good in this deck, right? Each player may draw a card. All right. You draw a card, I draw a card, bam! Whole new world. New Magicka? Yeah. That's kind of true. Why are we getting spammed by bots, bro? Go away. New Magicka's not a bad shout. This is a card, right, in this deck. I don't think it makes that much sense in most decks, but maybe in Emerald Amethyst and Steel Amethyst. This is so good for Jafar. I am a little bit worried about item removal though, but similarly, like if you're already playing an item, it makes your other items better, right? So like the Lamp and the Chromicon now, bam. It's like you remove my Lamp, but you can't touch my Chromicon, or other way around, right? Chromicon and Whole New World, yeah. Yeah, we should build mill too. I do love a bit of mill. 1 second, let me put my phone on to charge. I do love a bit of mill, not gonna lie. I do love a bit of mill. So we need some more Jafar cards. Let's go for the 3-cost, 2-cost rather. Maybe the 3-cost. I always did quite like the 3-cost Jafar. People aren't that high on it, but I like it. Like in my opinion, the more Jafars, the better. We're certainly going to look at the 4-cost Jafars. In particular, the Thingamajigam one. There's this one. But I think the Amethyst one is probably the best bet. This one. The Keeper of Secrets. 4-drop purple Genie. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting card. It is uninkable. This card's good, right? Bruni, the Fire Salamander. When this card is banished, you may draw a card. What you kind of want in this deck is you just want inkable card draw. Earth Giant. This card's cool. I like this card. I mean, honestly, if ever there was a deck for it, it could be this one. Just a unit that quests for 2. Castle seems good. So the thing is, as good as Castle does seem, there's quite a lot of new cards which deal with Castle quite well, like the Ruby Chromicon. means that Maui can now finish off castle in one swoop a lot easier. The Ruby Chromicon is a 1-cost item, which gives the character 1 strength this turn. Rabbit is uninkable. Dolores Madrigal, however, I think is in the deck. I don't think Rabbit is. Bro, it's so hard to build Jafar decks. It's actually crazy. Depends how all in you want to be. If you do ! Discord, you should get it. Won't be able to challenge your castle if you have Jafar. That's true. That is true. Could with Maui though, yeah. Does seem like our turn 3 is a bit weak. I do like the 3-cost Jafar, I'm not going to lie. I always quite like the card. Is there anything else at 3 that is really good that we should be considering? We've got Pete. Benja. It's a pretty good card. The Library. Second start's alright. You can like a copy or two, maybe, yeah. Kind of agree. But if it's literally mandatory for this list. It is literally not. How many Floodborns do I have in this deck? I have exactly 4. How would this deck deal with Daisy? That is a good question. Not very well. I mean, we do have the Standard Bearer, but we don't have we do have Standard Bearer, to be fair. The other thing is, it's possible you could race Daisy. Probably not going to happen, but it is possible. I do. Yeah, we have this Mickey Mouse as another shift option, right? Like, you have Robin Hood. Okay, we actually have more than 4 Floodborns. I take it back. We have 8. Let's go, Joe. Good to you. Simba could work. Yeah, honestly, Simba at 3 and the Simba shift doesn't sound like a bad bet. I don't hate it. I'm also pretty interested in trying to build a John Silver deck. I don't know, man. This does seem a bit too passive in the early game with the Lamp and the Chromicon. It does seem like Daisy's gonna wreck us too hard. It's so hard to build decks. Deck building's so hard, man. So standing up is hard work. Who would have thought? I don't really like the look of this deck that much, not gonna lie. I love Jafar though. But let's start again, maybe. How do we deal with Daisy? Well, Rafiki's pretty good at dealing with Daisy. Rafiki's pretty good. There's still this Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer. I do feel like we just need to like rethink the deck a little bit here. It might not even end up being a Jafar deck, right? There's this card which is kind of cool with Jafar too, Hypnotic Strength. As another, like, that's not a bad way of dealing with Daisy, right? In a Jafar deck. Do you ever get sick of Lorcana thinking about it 24/7? No, I don't actually. Which is a testament to how much I like this game, because I definitely got very sick of Marvel Snap. And I did also get sick of Gwent eventually, but it took a long time for Gwent. And Gwent didn't have... By the time I got sick of Gwent, like, the game was kind of on life support and wasn't getting many updates. It's hard to get sick of Lorcana when the deck building experience is this fun, and you get 204 new cards every 3 months. The content cycle never ends. I have been working a little bit too hard recently, not going to lie. Kind of need to relax a bit, but whatever, I'm enjoying it. It's fine. Guys, little plug for my TCG Player affiliate link. If you guys are based in North America, I have a new link, which whenever you're buying cards on TCG Player, if you click on this link and you buy cards in the next 7 days, and mine was the last link you clicked on for TCG Player, I get a little bit of money. So I don't know if bookmarking it works. Maybe if you like bookmark my link for TCG Player, every time you go on it, bam! You buy a new Beast Tragic Hero Bucky deck for $1,000 and you help your boy out. Please. I'm desperate. I'm not, but that would be cool. I'd appreciate it. I spent a lot of money on equipment recently, so it really does help out. Anyway, I digress. I don't know what to build next. We kind of looked at Jafar. I'm not super sold. It's so hot, mate. Can you tell that I'm sweating? I'm sweating. How long have we been going for? 2 hours? All right. Daisy is worth being stressed about. Save the link buying singles tonight. Let's go, Kian. Thank you so much. It's really kind. Amber Emerald Queen discard combo with Mirabelle. That does sound fun. That definitely does sound fun. Amethyst aggro. Fasa. What other like legendary cards are there to build around? The Mirabelle's kind of interesting to build around. Doesn't look like we can search by rarity. It's like just look at all the Shimmering Skies cards and see what catches the eye. Daisy Duck! What a card. New Sven, yeah. We probably should build some Daisy Duck decks, seeing as this is what I'm talking about so much. So Daisy Duck for me makes the most sense, probably paired with Amethyst or Steel, would be my gut feeling. I think Amethyst in particular, hyper aggro, looks absolutely disgusting. Befuddle, Magic Broom, Churnabogs. Yup. I mean, you could also play Maleficent, potentially. Be rude not to, you could. We haven't built Mufasa. Oh, we need to build Bluefasa. And Bufasa, haha. I'll never get old. Madam Mim. Bouncing back your cheap cards and readying them is very, very powerful. All right, we're at 24 cards. A lot of you are going to say friends. Not necessarily. Don't necessarily need friends in a super hyper duper aggro deck. You could. What's the next auto-include card? We've got the Brooms, we've got the Churnabogs, we've got the Fox. Oh, the Goat. Goat's going to be in the deck, innit? Put the Goat in the deck. That's why he's the Goat. The Goat. This Rafiki card's cool, by the way. Did you guys see this Rafiki card? Bit of a belter. Think I might make the cut in this. It's got Rush with Challenger 4, so it's going to be a 5/4. It's basically a mini Maui when it comes in, and then it can quest for 2. That's pretty good. What's the Shin Miri line? Shin Miri is a Gwent streamer, and when I was playing Lorcana in set 1, I had a hyper aggro, Amethyst, Amber deck, and he was like, your most aggressive line is Lilo on turn 1 and then 2 more Lilos on turn 2. This is like threatening 6 lore and you go wide, so that I dubbed it the Shin Miri line. Pinocchio, Pinocchio is not auto-include. Arthur's maybe good. Oh, I'll be doing it, Olivia. I'll be doing it. We should build that. This Rafiki looks good. 4-cost uninkable, kind of awkward at this. A lot of you are going to say Rabbit. I don't think Rabbit is good enough in a hyper aggro deck. It's too slow. I know. That's how aggressive we are. Bruni. Oh my days. Look at this card, guys. Evasive and draw a card when it's banished. Oh, that's insane. Bruni's wildly good. Dolores is also pretty good. It's an inkable card draw tool, unlike Rabbit. Rabbit's not in the deck. Dolores might be. Bruni is. Bruno Madrigal. Probably not in this one. Sorcerer's Spellbook. We'll go for maybe 1. I'm interested in seeing Emerald Sapphire build. I mean, did you see? One sec. I've got something for you then. You say you want Emerald Sapphire? Well, look what I got. Alright, quick detour. I present to you my set champs deck from the weekend. Video coming soon. This is Emerald. Oh look. Sapphire. With hidden ink Costa. 36 uninkables. I was playing 3 domes. I should have played 4. I had Beast. Relentless. It's the only rush character in the game. Milo Thatch. Under the Sea. Cheshire Cat. This card, the idea of it was it's a shift 5, but it's 8 cost, so it can insta-sing Under the Sea. Gaston. I had Morph. Flaversham. I have like the 1-drop Milo Thatch to check. Got Hades. Mickey Mouse. And that's pretty much the deck. I had 1 Scrooge McDuck. Should have just been a 4th Lucky Dime. And yeah, that was the deck. I had 4 of everything. It was so much fun, man. Video coming soon. The problem was I queued into Zoe round 1, and she goes Queen Shift, sing bare necessities, discard hidden in caster. Oh, it was so mean. It was so mean. Anyway. I was cooking, man. I mean, the deck was not supposed to win me the set champs. It was supposed to, like, me be pushing the limits. It was fun. I finished 3-2. I finished 3-2, so it was pretty good. I lost my first 2 games, but it was a stacked set championships. It was in central London. It was the only one on that weekend in London. So it was stacked. It was, like, the highest quality set champs I've played in. Like, I went 0-2 and queued into the geezer that won the big set champs that I played in like 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before. That was really fun. I wanted to cook something unorthodox. I almost played Ruby Emerald again, but I wanted to play something different. So video coming soon. It's a really fun video. I'm still editing it. Yeah, Sapphire Amber I think could be a thing with Prince Naveen and Mama Odie, because Prince Naveen can sing How Far I'll Go on 4. That sounds really good. Play Mama Odie on 3, Prince Naveen on 4, sing How Far I'll Go, double ramp. Jeez. Yeah, Baloo and Donald Duck Musketeer, agree, let's put them in. The Amber cards aren't showing up, are they? I broke it. This is not fair. Three cost Amber. Baloo. What was the other one you just said, chat? How do you sign in? I don't know, mate. I could make an account and I could sign in. Baloo and Donald. Probably playing the Donald. It's pretty good. The bodyguard. And there's also Sven Gorn Eriksson. So many of you are not going to understand that reference. Brother. This website's almost really good, but it's a little bit clunky. A little bit buggy. That is a lot of 3 costs. Is this like an infinite loop? I think I might be stuck in an infinite loop. Took me a while to realize. Oh! I fixed it by clicking on 5. Get in. We also want Sven Gorn Eriksson. Will Lorcana rotate cards out at some point? Probably at some point, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon. We don't really have any 2-drops, but to be fair, we probably just want more 1-drops. Like, we probably just want to be playing Maleficent. This Archimedes is good too. I could see us playing this. Probably just one. Oh! All of them! Imagine. Daisy Duck. Imagine I go Daisy Duck. I think it would be rude not to play all of them. We're not going to play Pinocchio. Like, Lilo Pinocchio is so much more efficient than that. This looks pretty good, not going to lie. We don't even need 2-drops because we just Shin Mirrorline every single game. We could play Piglet, mind you. We could play Piglet. Piglet's pretty good. Quest for 3 and Inkable. Let's go, goat. I don't really... Oh, wait, yeah, there's the guaranteed law card, right? The guaranteed law. Gathering wisdom. Gathering knowledge and wisdom. Gain 2 lore. It's a very complicated card. So when you play this, guys, what happens is you gain 2 lore. Bro, this deck looks absolutely insane. I don't even think I want Piglet Poo Pirate Captain, to be honest. I guess we should do a bit of an uninkable check. Not even that many, right? 4, 5, 9, 13, 17. That's nothing. We could go more. For a deck that caps out at 4 ink, there's nothing. I don't think we can afford the 3-cost Maleficent because we're not going to have enough cards in hand to discard with it. Maybe, though. I do like this card. I do like this card a lot. What an awkward situation. You may choose and discard a card to return chosen character item or location with cost 3 or less to their player's hand. Maybe so you may. Honestly, it's pretty good. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Hit statistics. Oh, this website just continues. Okay, we're 21. That's fine. I think you can get away with that. You just need to get to 4. It's not that hard. I don't like the Piglet that much, to be honest. I don't know if I like the spellbook that much either. I think there might be too many item removals. We could call it there. Something like this, I think, just looks good. I'm not going to lie. We don't have any card draw outside of Bruni and Chernobyls and Brooms, but I think that's fine. It's possible you don't want as many Lilos and Maleficents, but I mean, we are hyper aggro after all. We've got to live by, the name. We don't need 2 drops. We Shin Mirror Line every game. That's why we play so many 1 drops. 2 drops are inefficient. We just Shin Mirror Line. Every time. Library could actually be a shout. The thing I don't like about Library is Arthur could be good. The thing I don't really like about Library is it's not guaranteed lore. You need... What is that? Piglet is not a must, I think. Piglet's whatever. We have Daisy Duck now. Cost 2, draw a card every round. It's too slow, probably. You could. Friends is okay with blue, but I don't think you really care for... You just rather quest for 1 with this deck. Why play Madam Im Snake? Because you can bounce back a card like Lilo or Daisy Duck to ready them and then get more questing. Snake and Fox are able to replay cheap characters like Lilo and Daisy and Maleficent. You quest with them, you ready them. Like, you quest with them, you bounce them, you replay them. That's why. Now, you never cut Snake. You can also bounce Goat with it. Snake is auto-include. It's so good. People really underestimate how good Snake and Fox are with cards like Maleficent. I don't think you don't necessarily need to play this many Lilos, Maleficents, but why not? They're just so efficient. Like, you never play Pinocchio before you play the maximum amount of these cards. They're just more efficient. Like, in Lorcana, an aggro deck wants to go as wide as possible, as quickly as possible, right? Yeah, Dolores Madrigal is definitely a consideration. Absolutely. But I prefer Bruni instead. I went for Bruni. I was about to put Dolores in the deck, and then I just put Bruni in. I'm pretty happy with this list. It looks pretty clean. You could play, obviously, some spellbooks, but I think that our uninkable count is pretty high already, and that there should probably be quite a lot of item removal in the meta. I just think this looks very good. What about... Yeah, the Moana's decent, but again, probably just better options that are because it's uninkable. The Moana's not spectacular. It's like almost playable, though. It's playable. I just don't think it's quite good enough. This is the Moana in question. I mean, you could play an inkable Mickey Mouse as a 3/3. Mickey Mouse is probably better. You'd probably rather have an inkable card. When I saw this, I really liked it, but I think I was overestimating it. I think the art was winning me over more than the actual card. It's not bad. No, I don't like Pinocchio. Pinocchio's much, much worse than Lilo or Maleficent in my mind. Right, so on turn 2, I could play a Pinocchio, which is uninkable, or on turn 2, I could play 2 Lilos. What's the difference? Well, Lilo is 1 less card in hand, but it quests for 1 more overall, like the double Lilo. But moreover, it's across 2 bodies. So it's making it more difficult. I'm overloading my opponent's removal. My opponent might play one card that can remove something, whereas I'm playing two. So while the Lilos are only one lore more, it also makes it more likely that I get an extra turn of questing out. So in reality, a double Lilo over a Pinocchio on turn 2 is most likely netting me like 3 extra lore. Yeah, Befuddle is insane. There is no late game. That's because there is no late game. I think the Donald Duck's good. It's guaranteed lore. It's like guaranteed 2 lore, basically, right? You don't have to bodyguard it. And if you do bodyguard it, it's just a bit of a nuisance. Card's just good, right? It's guaranteed lore. You can bounce it for more lore. It's kind of like a mini goat in that sense. It's just good. Bodyguard's nice. Card's good in hyper aggro, I think. I think you can't really go wrong. Gale. We need Gale. Yeah. We need Gale. That's true. Gale is tremendous. Gale is a new card. Also in the starter deck. When this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. Yes, please. We're playing 4 copies of it. We've got to cut something. What do we cut for Gale? Because Gale's in the deck, no doubt. Great card. What do you guys think? Is it Sven Goran Eriksson? Nah, this is too good to cut. Is it maybe Archimedes, the exasperated owl? It might be, right? What does an owl have to do to get a little peace and quiet around here? Probably the Archimedes, innit? Pretty good, though. I mean, if that's the card you're cutting, my goodness. Nah, I think you keep Sven Goran Eriksson. No Library Castle. What I don't like about Library or Castle, in fact, there was a hyper aggro deck that got top 64 in Fort Worth a week or 2 ago, and the one thing I didn't like about the deck was the fact that they were playing Castle in the deck, because it's not guaranteed lore. Archimedes, bye. Like, if we're cutting this, you know the deck's good. Alright, I'm calling it. This deck is unfair. This deck is so good. Wow. I think this deck's insane. This is the first deck in the game where you can have 12 different characters on turn 1, which quests for 2. And it also gets to play Befuddle, Magic Broom, and Churnabogs. Like, Magic Broom and Churnabogs are the best 1-drops in the entire game. And then you still get to play, like, 12 Lilos. But this is like Lilo, but way better. And you get Befuddle. Jeez. This would be my... If I was playing in a Disney Lorcana challenge event on day 1 of the meta, and I wasn't sharing my decks with anybody, this is what I would be playing. No, but don't underestimate Befuddle, mate. Trust me. Especially in a Daisy Duck meta. Do not underestimate Befuddle. Insane card in hyper aggro. Insanely good card. Mate, this deck looks so unfair. I do love a hyper aggro deck. I do, yeah, and that's also why we're not playing 2-drops. Like, these are not 2-drops. We're not playing these on turn 2. On turn 2, we are going Shin Miri line, super wide, bam, bam, bam. It's possible that, like, we might have too many 4-cost characters, but I think it's fine. It's fine. What the heck? Did the YouTube stream end? Are we still live? Alright, I'll go grab my food. I'll be right back. I think we're still live. Cool. Alright. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll be like a minute or 2. Don't go anywhere. Right, guys, I've changed my mind. I'm going to end the stream there. Shorter than planned, but I'm going to go eat. I haven't eaten anything today. And then I think I'm going to try and go to the gym because I haven't been to the gym in like 2 weeks. Tonight kind of feels like a good time to do it. So I'm going to call it there, but we'll build more decks tomorrow. And then we'll build more decks on Thursday. And then I'm going to Italy for Disney Lorcana Challenge where I'm commentating. Let's go. But then when I'm back, daily streams. Daily streams. Apart from maybe not on the first couple release days because I'm going to be working on videos. So thanks for hanging out. I will do some more like thoughts on decks and I'll have a bunch of cool things to build tomorrow. I've been abandoned. I know, I'm sorry. It was fun though. It was very fun. We'll be doing more deck building tomorrow. Probably for longer. I might just start earlier. I'm so busy to be fair, guys. I have so many videos that I need to edit. It's been non-stop. So yeah, I appreciate you all hanging out. It was very fun. And we'll do more tomorrow. See you. Twitchers, is there anybody in the Disney Lorcana category that we can raid?